So, Master, we've been talking a lot about QBs in this year's NFL draft, but let's take it back to 2020, which might have arguably
Do we have to take it back to
been...
2020? Because that was kind of a weird year with COVID and stuff.
Okay,
But
put that aside. Let's keep it on football. Keep it on football. We had some great guys come out of that draft class. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts.
Stud across the board.
No bust.
No, literally, phenomenal talent across the board.
So is there a chance that this could go down as the best QB draft of all time?
Absolutely. I think, and who would think that we'd be sitting here in 2024 thinking that Jordan Love could potentially be one of the best, if not the best, of this class. Just shows you the depth and the talent that existed in this class. And they all had their different paths, all different skill sets that we see from this. Of course, Joe Burrow, I feel like, is probably the leading skill set guy that we've seen from here. Big fan of him. Tua, we've seen the growth from him. Whether he's worth the amount of money the Dolphins may potentially have to pay him, that's a subject for another conversation. Justin Herbert, the skill set's been there from day one. Now we just need to see him doing it consistently and making it to the playoffs. Hopefully, with Harbaugh, unfortunately, being in the Chargers, but you don't have to see him no more in Ohio State, so it's probably a blessing in disguise here. But we'll see what he does to help Herbert as well, take that next step as well. And as Jalen Hurts, see him get into the Super Bowl. Very interesting situation in Philadelphia there, but hopefully he can bounce back from what he did last season. The depth is there. Just the longevity of being able to see it through and through. But I think it does say a lot that these players and these quarterbacks were able, outside of Jordan Love, having immediate success and being able to run with that and continue to grow from that. But I think when it's all said and done, I would not be surprised if Jordan Love ends up being the best quarterback from this class. He has shown, from what we saw last season, as a scarred Cowboys fan, he can absolutely terrorize a defensive secondary with every single throw that he's capable of doing, and he continues to grow and get improve in terms of his vision, his leadership skills, as we saw in that playoff game. He scares me. He's scared. Joe Burrow scares me too, but just Jordan Love, from what I've seen and the young core that they have, he could potentially be the best one in that class. But I mean, there's some other good drafts that we can talk about here. I mean, in 1983. We had your boy Ace Ventura, Dan Marino, John Elway, Jim Kelly, Ken O'Brien. That one was a very fascinating class. The 2012 one, I always had thought this one would be a fun one, but unfortunately, it just hasn't panned out in the way that we thought at the time. With Andrew Luck, RG3, Ryan Tannehill, Russell Wilson, Nick Foles.
RG3, man. All those injuries, man.
I know, man.
The
What could have been?
Plagued him.
Andrew Luck somewhere probably in the woods, somewhere in a cabin right now, enjoying his life, doing whatever he's doing in a cabin in Northern California. But I think this one has a chance, especially here in the last decade, 15 years that we've seen here. I think this class, no question at this point, has been the deepest and talented. It's just a matter at this point showing the longevity to make this clear cut, no question, the best quarterback class we've ever seen.
Well, it's funny you say longevity, right? You said Russell Wilson was drafted in 2012, correct? And we're 2024, and he's still in the game. Not one
barely,
barely, but he still can make some moves, right? And it's crazy that he's still in it and playing and competing.
Yeah, he's got a huge QB battle right now in Pittsburgh between him and Justin Fields, and I don't know if he's going to win that one, to be quite honest with you. It'll be very fascinating to see how that plays out. And Mike Tomlin's going to give both guys the opportunity to compete in training camp for that QB1 opportunity. But it's not going to be easy for him. And we just saw what happened in Denver with him. Wasn't a great situation for him or the Broncos in itself. It was a terrible marriage brought together that was quickly, for both parties, best to move on. We saw how things ended in Seattle. This feels like a make or break time for Russell Wilson. If he's not able to win his QB1 job over Justin Fields, who was traded away by the Chicago Bears, who did not view him as the franchise quarterback for them anymore, I don't know if Russell Wilson as a starting quarterback is a viable option. I mean, he could be a solid backup, for the next couple of years in his career as he finishes it out. But he needs to win this job in order for us to continue to view him as a QB1 option.
Or he can get his own movie.
He can get his...
How many Pet Detective movies are there?
You know what?
2.
Yeah, okay, so
if there is a Pet Detective QB movie that's done, I think Russ,
that's the third of the sequel or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I think you got something there. I really do.
I have to go watch this movie now because it just keeps getting brought up.
I wonder if it's even on streaming or not.
It is. It is.
It has to be somewhere.
It's
so funny.